on the Gamebridge Ball State Cardinals Sports Network from Learfield. Welcome to This Week in Ball State Sports, a Ball State Athletics podcast, highlighting the Cardinals athletics teams and administration each week. Presented by Gamebridge. Here's the voice of the Cardinals, your host, Mick Tidrow.
Hey, Cardinal fans, welcome back into This Week in Ball State Sports. We have a pretty abbreviated show this week with all the different events happening around Ball State athletics. It's me and Director of Athletics, Jeff Mitchell, guiding you through this episode, and just us two. Jeff, appreciate your time. I know your schedule's all over the place, so appreciate you sitting down for a few minutes.
Mick, thank you. It's always a pleasure to join you.
I have to start off with Allie Becky, Jeff. She rolls in, puts up a triple-double, and did that almost for three quarters yesterday for women's basketball. That was an electric performance.
Allie's such an amazing basketball player. We're so fortunate that she has grown and developed here at Ball State. And last night against Memphis, she was electric, with just poured in a casual triple-double, it just like it was an average game for her. And, I think it caught a lot of people by surprise that she did it without a lot of fanfare. I mean, it was just kind of traditional Allie Becky playing basketball, and the stats worked in her favor. I don't think she's had one before. And so we talked about that. I sat in the press conference after the game, and she is your typical humble athlete that just goes out there and plays because she loves playing the game, and the good things are coming for her. But she's such a catalyst for our team, such a leader for us, and everybody feeds off that energy that she gives on the floor. And she was electric offensively and defensively last night. I mean, she had some huge steals or made some plays that led to turnovers. And, she's up on the floor, up making calls and signaling, Cardinals basketball, and the fans were eating it up. So it was just a ton of fun. That team is so fun to watch. They play a connected brand of basketball. And of course, Allie's kind of captaining that team through their season, and it's just it's a lot of fun to watch. I'm proud of them.
Jeff, Allie had almost a quadruple double in the game. She was 3 steals away from a quad double. Like that is unbelievable. She almost had that through 3 quarters. Like I'm sitting back and thinking, first triple double in Ball State history since 2010, and she almost had a quadruple double. That's mind blowing.
Yeah, she had a brilliant game, and I think people recognized that she was playing really well. And this is a team that in Memphis that is a really good basketball team, and they are a top 100 team. It's a quality win for the Cardinals, and I think Allie's mindset every game, I think it's always been this way, but certainly right now, is we're going to go out here and dominate. And I think the team believes in that, and they certainly displayed that yesterday. And it was a great win to highlight how we're playing, how we want to play, particularly as we go on the road this weekend for a tough matchup. So it was an encouraging night last night. The crowd was into it, and they're fun. They're fun to watch, and so we need to do our job as a community to come on out and watch these talented student athletes play because they do bring so much pride and joy to our department, to the community, and when you've got a team like that. Supporting them becomes pretty easy, and we're just excited that they continue to grow and develop as the season progresses.
I know we always talk about the portal giveth and the portal taketh, but Jeff, that Ball State women's basketball team through the portal had 3 players combined for 41 points in addition to Allie's triple-double, and then Tessa Towers added 4 more points. So I guess 4 players, 45 points from the transfer portal helping Ball State. So I think what the discussion has been is, with Ball State basketball on the women's side's dominance the last couple of years with some roster turnover and the transfers coming in, I think everybody was just wondering how they would all fit together. I think they've answered that question pretty easily through the first 3 games going 3-0.
Well, I think that's a testament to Coach Selly and his staff and the culture that he has built over the course of his tenure here at Ball State. And that culture is talked about often in that locker room. He talks a lot about it on the recruiting trail, and they display it day in, day out. They post their core values at every practice. And that I believe that's an important tone for a team to uh, develop an identity around what they believe in. And then they have a core group of leaders that have played together for several years that are, willing their team to success, and they police themselves. So I'm not sure that there's a lot of discipline that needs to be using that term in a negative way, that needs to be meted out by Coach Selly and his staff, because they're governed so well in the locker room and on the floor, and that senior group is going to call somebody out if somebody is not hustling or not doing things they need to do competitively or otherwise. And when you've got that, then the coaching becomes a real joy. And Coach Selly mentioned last night that there were times where he just kind of stepped back and became more of a fan than he was a coach, because his team was doing what he wants them to do, which is to play the brand of basketball that they're known for, and to play without having to question what they're doing. And so he said they got into a rhythm. I think he only called maybe a couple of actions all game, and they just got in their rhythm and played because they trust each other, and they obviously are very good at what they do, but they know their system so well. And those new additions, because it's been such an environment where they can come in and learn and grow and develop and not be afraid of making mistakes, they have really gelled. And these are quality basketball players that are coming in that played college ball, understand what it takes. And then our core group that has been here for a while have welcomed them into the fold. And so when you have all those things that happen, and you've got this coaching mentality where, hey, we understand it's new, but the system is laid out for you, and we're going to do it this way. And if you guys buy into how we do it, success will follow. And that's what they're doing right now. And so I'm really proud of that team there. And again, a ton of fun to watch.
Director of Athletics Jeff Mitchell joining us here on This Week in Ball State Sports. Just me and Jeff this week breaking down what's happening in athletics. Just talked about women's basketball. Flipping to the men's side, Jeff. Really competitive game against Dayton on the road. That's a top 30 team, KenPom ranking wise. And Ball State lost by 8, but made it a 5-point game and really pushed what Dayton was trying to do. And that, I think Coach Lewis was talking about how proud he was of the group making that comeback, showing what they have, especially in front of 13,000 fans.
Yeah. So scheduling is important. And when we put Dayton on the schedule, we knew that was going to be a challenge for this team that hasn't played together much. Young team, there's some collegiate experience, but there's a lot of talent. And to put a team together, put them in that type of environment, and to challenge them, and to see them play that top 30 team in a way that was really competitive, aside from a slow start. I think we're encouraged by that. So the college basketball season is a long season, and it starts really in the summer when there's access to coaching, and then the fall segment starts earlier now than it ever has, in terms of your countable practice hours, being at that 20 practice hour mark per week, and that starts in late or really mid to late September. And then the season starts in early November. It goes through mid-March, and then you get into tournament play after that. So it's an extended season. And there's just a lot of growth and development that happens over the course of a year. And that is the case, hopefully, certainly for our men's team. And, watching them last night, I see them trying to continue to learn how each other is playing, how to run the style or the type of system that Coach Lewis wants to run, and they're competing. And I think that is encouraging. We've got some tough games in non-conference before we start conference play. Certainly, the Dayton game was one of them, and we're just going to continue to stack days and continue to develop and grow. And sent Coach Lewis a message after the game saying, "Hey, keep teaching," because he is teaching these guys, and he enjoys teaching them. And I believe they're responding, and the shots are going to start falling. And as long as we continue to be aggressive defensively and continue to work on that end and get better and better and better, then we're going to have a chance to win some ball games. So we're never excited about a loss, but certainly we got to recognize when we're developing. And I'm encouraged by what I saw last night, and look forward to watching us inside Worthen on Saturday against Indiana State.
Jeff, I buried the lead when it comes to men's basketball from last night. Jamari Fat Hill made SportsCenter top 10. He was the number one play on a dunk. And I think it's interesting to look at those plays and see how it developed. Watching it live and seeing it happen live, it was incredible. But then the slow motion angles that our content team, Sam Finley and Colin Phillips, got, just how aggressive that dunk was in the best way possible for Fat Hill. Really cool backstory for this. Quavo, who's a part of Migos on Instagram, follows Fat Hill, and he shared the video of Fat making that SportsCenter top 10 dunk. So there was a lot of excitement around what Hill did in that play.
Well, it was an electric play, and I happened to be watching it at the time that happened. Of course, I was in Worthen watching the women play last night, and I was following the men's game on the ESPN Plus broadcast on my phone. And I was actually sitting with my daughter and one of her friends, and we were watching. We were watching both games, so we probably were a fun sight to see, because we're trying to track what's happening on our floor, and then we're watching the stream as well. But Fat makes that dunk, and I nearly come out of my seat because how electric it was. And then I showed it to my daughter and her friend, and they both almost came out of their seat on the replay. So yeah, it was absolutely electric, and I'm glad to see that it got noticed, picked up by SportsCenter top 10, and on Instagram Reels. Certainly we'll play it up. But Fat is an electric player, and led the team in scoring last night, and will continue to probably do so. He just has an ability to get to the rim and score the basketball, and he's developing as a player too. This is his first Division I action. He was a celebrated player at the JUCO ranks, so we're excited that he's in a Ball State uniform, and he's just going to get better and better as the season progresses. And I think he's enjoying the system that we play, and look forward to both Fat and the rest of our teammates continuing to improve as the season goes along.
Yeah, just what an impressive electric dunk for Fat Hill. And I think that Worthen Arena fans got a little bit of a glimpse of that against Franklin College a few games ago, and we'll have the opportunity to see a little bit more of that coming in as well. Jeff Mitchell joining us here on This Week in Ball State Sports. You mentioned the game for Ball State men's basketball this Saturday against Indiana State. That is Hoops for LAS, supporting your team ending ALS. Coach Lewis has been a big supporter of this cause. It's near and dear to his heart. So hope you all join us. Get your tickets at ballstatesports.com for Ball State, Indiana State on Saturday. Jeff, women's volleyball season is only 2 games left in the year for this team. They've peeled off 9 straight wins, 8 of them by sweep, which is a program record. This team is playing its best ball right now. And really, the end of the regular season comes against Western Michigan, one of the other best teams in the MAC right now. So this is going to be an excellent weekend of volleyball.
It really is, and it's going to be exciting. We talked about this on a pregame show at football earlier in the week, Mick, and you got 2 great teams coming in, 2 teams that were voted on as being top teams in the league preseason, and here we are at the end of the season, where we're fighting for seeding now in the conference tournament. Both teams are going to make the tournament, and it's going to be fun to watch. High-level volleyball here in Worthen Arena Friday night and Saturday afternoon. Of course, Saturday is a doubleheader with men's basketball playing at 2 and women's volleyball playing at 5. And the way that our women's volleyball team is playing right now, just a very connected bunch. They're talented. They now are, as you mentioned, playing their best volleyball, and that's exactly what you want to be doing at the end of the season as we go into tournament play. So I'm excited to watch us compete. It's been fun to watch the last few weeks as we've been on the roll that we've been on, but the top half of the league has been on an exceptional roll. So you've got a lot of good teams playing their best volleyball at the right time of the season, and that makes for just dynamic performances and entertaining for our fans to see for sure. But I'm excited about the fact that we're hosting these matches at home and look forward to seeing a big crowd on both Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, the volleyball standings in the MAC right now, Bowling Green at 14-2. They've also won 9 straight games. Central Michigan's in second, 13-3. They've won 3 straight games. Ball State and Western Michigan are tied at 12-4. And been both won 9 straight games in Mid-American Conference play. So what a weekend it'll be. Ball State's 1 win away from 20 on the season again for Kelly Miller Phillips and that crew, potentially fighting for a top 2 spot because they're 2 games back from Bowling Green, and Ball State did drop both of those matches. I think the best that Ball State can do is second, but to have a top 2 spot after starting 3 and 4 in the conference, Jeff, I think is a huge testament to where the team has gone. Jeff, before we let you go, here on This Week in Ball State Sports, anything else you want to relay to Ball State fans?
Well, we've got exciting games coming up. We talked about a few of them with basketball and volleyball, and we look forward to seeing everybody as we flip to postseason in volleyball, as we flip into basketball season mainstream. And of course, we've got our final final home football game of the season next Saturday on the 23rd against Bowling Green. So look forward to seeing our fans show up for the Cardinal Athletics as we get into basketball season and conclude the rest of our fall sports.
Well, Jeff, really appreciate your time. Get your tickets for Ball State basketball, ballstatesports.com. Ball State football has one more home game as well on November 23rd. Check out ballstatesports.com, 888-BSU ticket on the phone for tickets there as well. Jeff, really appreciate your time, and we'll talk with you next week.
Mick, thank you so much. Go Cards.
Thanks for listening to This Week in Ball State Sports, presented by Gainbridge. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Gainbridge Ball State Cardinals Sports Network.